Bitcoin yesterday has pumped, and will it continue today? Well, guys, we are literally at the most pivotal point. Once again, for literally the fourth or even the fifth time, Bitcoin is still struggling to actually reclaim and then hold on to the value area high. We've said, guys, that for the higher time frame for Bitcoin to push higher, for us to make a quite strong bullish move, we must actually go and hold on to 71k for the foreseeable future, so that we can potentially get a strong move to maybe 74 and then even to 80k. Every single time Bitcoin has been within this consolidation ever since we made the low at 60k, and then we started moving sideways. Bitcoin hadn't been quite able to actually reclaim 71 and then hold on to it. Literally the first time and the second, third, fourth even time we had gone above it, we actually were unable to hold on to it, and it ended up being a fake out of the top, and then we went lower. So now the question is, will this be finally the time where Bitcoin just goes higher, holds on to the value high, and then potentially give us a strong move? As I told you guys, that just because this consolidation, which is I guess very rare to see on Bitcoin, if you put on the volume profile tool here, we can clearly see that this is a strong cluster of volume. We literally been consolidating within, I'd say, for the most part, between 71 and 66k for almost, or I guess, for over 2 months now. So whenever and if we ever go above, hopefully we do, if we ever go above the value area high, so the top of the volume profile tool, or the bottom of the value area low, or the value area, we will be getting a strong move. So again, like whenever we get close to the value area high, I'm going to be mentioning some bullish, I guess, potential and probability of going higher. Whenever, or even similar to, I guess, last week when we are trading close to at 66k, I was mentioning the viability of going to 60. Right now, I want you guys to be paying close attention. If you had longed Bitcoin, which would have been easier, to be honest, last week, because we've been literally given lots and lots of trades. I mean, even the last one, which was the back test of the POC with the anchored VWAP, literally given us the most and easiest long that was taken, given and mentioned in, I guess, not the last live stream, the one before. So obviously this is a trade we have been talking about, and even before that on Sunday we gave the long here, and even prior to that we've mentioned this one last week and that one. So to be honest, it's very rare that Bitcoin actually gives us easy amount of longs before pumping. So we were quite lucky / also technically, I guess, smart to be looking for longs, even though obviously, guys, whenever Bitcoin goes to the value area low, both can be true. So because we are at the most pivotal point, I'll be both talking about the danger of going to 60, but I will never say to short or sell, but I'd rather just focus on it as a probability for those that have got shorts. While also, because we are at the bottom, so technically we are dropping, I will also be mentioning long. So technically, if we are at the bottom, if we are dropping, I will both be talking about probabilistically going lower, because obviously whenever we're downtrending, probability of going lower is higher. Plus also, which seem contradictory to those that are on the beginner side, which is fine. Also, while we're dropping, while simultaneously I'm talking about 60, I can be giving and mentioning and taking longs, because that's what I do. When we drop, I either avoid longing, or either avoid selling or I take a long, and also vice versa. Now, with Bitcoin being at the most pivotal point, again, I want you guys to understand this very, very clearly. With Bitcoin being at around or literally 71k, the value area high, there's two possibilities here. Obviously, either we be looking for shorts if Bitcoin wants to actually give us a fake out and a drop back below the value area low, or also simultaneously, I would love for everybody to understand the bullishness of going back and getting back finally above or at the value area high. Because if Bitcoin just decides, and again, because I have no idea, I cannot tell you whether we're going up or down. It's never that simple. I just like to hold winners, and I want to make money if Bitcoin goes higher, because obviously we got longs from lower. However, obviously I will never tell you to buy at the top, even though Bitcoin can literally skyrocket to 74 and there isn't much, I guess, resistance stopping us from going to 80. exactly what I said, I think, when Bitcoin was at 76 last time, I think 3 weeks ago. But that doesn't allow you or mean that you have to be or you should be long in here. You should never ever think about long in if Bitcoin doesn't offer us a pullback. Now, obviously, I'm going to be talking about setups, a good setups to be looking for a long if we get a pullback. But if Bitcoin never pulls back, I will never tell you guys to be long in, even though this is a very critical potential bullish move. Why? Because obviously at the bottom, I'll be scaring you guys talking about 60 while giving longs. At the top, I will be talking about bullish stuff while not giving longs. So hopefully guys, you understand that this is the reality of being a trader. I will never ever show up every single day trying to tell you guys whether we're going up or down. I've got no idea. However, let's go into the new potential amazing trades we could be taking on today's Bitcoin chart, because obviously if we get a drop, I'm open for long in Bitcoin. For example, I've got multiple ideas. If I remove the volume profile, I've got multiple ideas for potential, I'd say, longs, even though not the most prettiest ones. But I've got this zone of 69.9 as a viable area. That was a high volume area. And I also got the anchored view up, which, by the way, gave us the last long, as you can clearly see. And then, like, if we lose the value, high value area at 69.9, we lose the anchored view up. This is also an MPOC. So I guess the most important zone to be looking for a potential long if we pull back. If we do that, I mean, if we don't, then you're going to be missing out on the money made from going higher, because obviously I will never tell you to be long in at the top. However, if we drop, this is the zone to be on the lookout for, because this could be a similar kind of pullback we've seen where we then went higher. Maybe we go somewhere here and then push higher. Obviously we can also drop, but again, I wouldn't be knowing that unless we go there or until we go there. So right now, this is the zone to be looking for some nice bigger trades. I mean, obviously for a scalp person, they can always jump in on the 5-minute time frame and look for something else, but to me, I'd prefer looking within the zone if the zone actually gets reached. However, for those that are looking to short, obviously some of you guys would love to short. I can also be given some ideas. I mean, for the scalpy person, you always can be shorting the top or the fake out of the day plus the NPOC and the daily. Not the prettiest, not the best, but this is a viable zone. But if 71.8, 72k gets reclaimed, I'll obviously tell you guys to be waiting for 74, a potential strong move higher. Don't be long in this, but just wait for a skyrocket to 74. At 74, this could be the closest, not the best, but the closest short. If 74 actually gets broken, I'll be waiting for 80. So I'd say 80 to 78, 74 are the best zones to short. However, we got a little scalpy one here. And for longs, unfortunately, my friends, if Bitcoin doesn't pull back, you don't have the right to make money with the pump, because if you didn't catch a viable long from the bottom, you shouldn't benefit from the skyrocketing of Bitcoin. That's how we do it, guys. We want to always be holding trades, looking for longs if we're dropping, as we've been doing back then, and now looking for shorts if we're pumping. We either look for shorts, obviously, or avoid taking them unless we reach some critical important zones.